Hello, this is Doe Wilson back with another edition of Old School Boxing Talk. Let's see. Last weekend we had the bunch of the big fights. Went over some of them. Um, I thought I finally got to see the Collazo fight, and I thought Collazo looked serviceable. I think Collazo's still a guy that can get in there and give some of these boys a problem. It's at 147. I ain't saying he's gonna beat him, but he's gonna give him some work. So the big topic last week was Sergey Kovalev losing to Eliter Alvarez. And guys, I said this before in videos and with people I talk to. I do not think ever. I never thought that Sergey Kovalev was over the loss of Andre Ward. It's an analogy if you go back and you watch my video, my Andre Ward Sergey Kovalev 2 preview. I told you then, Andre Ward defeating Sergey Kovalev was stuck in his head. It stayed there so much that Kovalev doubted himself. Some guys are good as long as they're undefeated, and they go undefeated, and they're the best. And the minute they lose, everything falls apart. Kelly Pavlik is another example of that. Kelly Pavlik was a machine, was a monster inside the ring. He goes up to 168 and fights Bernard Hopkins. He loses. Kelly Pavlik's never been the same fighter after losing to Bernard Hopkins. Some guys, that O is everything to them. Everything to them. Now, what I think they did was the same thing they kind of did. They kind of, Kathy Duva, HBO, and those main events, folks, they brought Kovalev back after Andre Ward retired. They brought Kovalev back against a bunch of nondescript guys, cupcakes, setups, confidence builders. And they brought him back against those guys. And he did what he's supposed to do. He won the vacant WBO title. Yeah, he got a belt back around his waist. He made a defense of the said belt. Yeah, he got a defense. And the problem is, he looked good. And I don't think he thought he was ready yet. And it proves he wasn't. Alvarez was too much. When he took this fight, I said I was really scared for Kovalev in this fight because I don't know if he had escaped the demons of the Ward fight. Was that behind him? And I don't know if those demons were behind him. What happens when he gets in a rough fight? What happens when he gets in there and goes somebody and roughs him up like Ward does? What happens when somebody goes to the body on him? The people he had him in there with were guys who were standing at the end of his shot, just happy to be here, take a few shots and go home. And he's good, but this kid Alvarez, Leader Alvarez, this kid was the real deal. This kid's the real deal. He came in there and he took Kovalev to those places that we needed to find out the answers from Kovalev is, are you back? Or are you the big bad bully that Andre Ward showed you to be? That you're good as long as there's no resistance. People talk about the mental game, the physical game, but the boxing mental game. And I'm going to tell you where Sergey Kovalev lost the Andre Ward fight. For those of you who say, I felt Kovalev won, let me tell you, Kovalev lost the Andre Ward fight in the first round. And here is why he lost that fight. When Kovalev throughout his career, when he knocked people down, when he knocked Bernard Hopkins down, they made like silent agreements. Bernard Hopkins was going to do as little as possible, and Kovalev was going to carry Bernard. Because Bernard Hopkins had that power. Oh my God, yeah. Look, dude, I just want to get knocked out. And okay. And Kovalev boxed Hopkins. Hopkins did a little thing here, there, whatever. But there was never any real threat of anything. So, that being said, that was what Kovalev was used to. Guys go to distance. When I hit them and I drop them, they go to distance. Why? Because I allowed them to. When he dropped Andre Ward and Andre Ward got up and looked at him like, okay, now we can fight. Kovalev was like, oh, what the fuck? No, 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 this is not what happens. This is not what happens. I knock you down, and yet we make this little deal. You just start backpedaling and running away, and I win a decision. And I'll let you go the distance. Andre Ward was like, okay, now we're going to fight. And Kovalev, right then and there, was mentally broken and beaten. Because he's just a guy that used to hit people. They go down, and then all of a sudden, when they get up, they just want to survive. And if they're top tier fighters, like this with Hopkins, you know, he says, okay, I get another name. I get the name of Andre Ward in my ledger. I went 12 rounds with Andre Ward. I won the decision. Yay, I beat Andre Ward. Well, this wasn't going to happen this week. Andre Ward was like, oh no. And as the fight went on, yes, Kovalev won some of those early rounds. But the point is, as the fight went on, Andre Ward was in this fight. Andre Ward, yes, Kovalev might have been winning the rounds, but Andre Ward was digging the body. Andre Ward was mentally putting pressure on Sergey Kovalev. What you don't see, Ward was winning. Kovalev was winning around with the jabs, because the right hands were going over Andre Ward's shoulder. At this point, Andre Ward had figured out take the right hand away, get inside, whatever. Andre Ward was maybe giving away rounds to beat him late. And that's what Andre Ward did. He broke him down in those rounds he gave away. And then come the fifth round, Andre Ward took over that fight. And Andre Ward whooped his ass down the stretch. Because Andre Ward got on the inside and it was Kovalev doing a lot of the holding down and stretching. Kovalev was the one now, just let me get the fuck up out of here. So, yeah, it was a close fight, whatever. Okay, and Sergey Kovalev had something to hang his hat on. He had something to bitch about because a lot of people said, oh, yeah, you won that fight. You won that fight. Yeah. Okay. And he never mentally said, okay, I got that one. Let's just move on. Let's get ready for his next one. He was always, oh, son of judges. And all kind of other excuses and everything else would show that the fact that his O was gone. And the fact that Andre Ward was not going to bow down to the fear of the crusher, that is what beat Sergey Kovalev. That first round against Ward, when Ward stood up, when Ward got up and Ward said, okay, let's fight. That's when Sergey Kovalev was mentally beaten. That first round when he dropped him, Ward would not capitulate to what he's used to. Now, we get through the builder for the second fight, and Sergey Kovalev is all over, bitching in Russia and everywhere that will listen to him. Talk about how he was robbed. Okay. You never mentally got over the first fight. Now they're going through training and everything else. He's talking a little bit, Ward talking a little bit, but you look at whenever they stare off, that confidence that Kovalev used to have in the first fight wasn't there anymore. Kovalev was afraid of Andre Ward. And I'd heard rumors, I don't know how true it is, but it's rumor, that Kovalev didn't even want the second fight. He did not want the second fight. Kovalev wanted no part of the second fight. HBO and Kathy Duva made him take that fight. He didn't want that fight. And if there's no Alita Alvarez rematch, then I'm going to believe that the thing with Kovalev about Ward was true. He didn't want the fight. They made him take the fight. Now, going to the second fight. Whole new ball game. First 4 rounds again. Sergey Kovalev gets off to a fast start because I sat there. I gave Kovalev the first 4 rounds. Round 5, the fight switched again. Matter of fact, I was on Facebook, going live with the fight. Usually, if I watch a fight and I'm on Facebook, I did it for Mayweather, Pacquiao. I did it for Hopkins and I did it for Hopkins and Kovalev too. I had Kovalev at every 4 rounds of first 4 rounds, crush her up. Item up. First 4 rounds. Round 5, fight change. But even in those first 4 rounds he was winning, he was losing because Ward was right back up in his chest, hitting his body, working him over. And he was then turning to the referee when Ward hit him in the body. I was going, and he turned to the referee and said, hey, he's hitting me low. It wasn't low. He just can't take that body work. So there we are. We go through, and in the 8th round, a straight right hand, the same shot that got that. See, people say, well, Alita Alvarez beat him better. Alita Alvarez is a puncher. Andre Ward wasn't. But the same right hand that Alvarez first landed for the first knockout was the same right hand that began the end of Kovalev Ward 2. In the 8th round, Andre Ward nailed it with a right hand. Same right cross. and Kovalev was in trouble. And that's when Andre Ward jumped up and started working Kovalev over. But it was a right hand, the same right hand that Alvarez dropped him with, was the same right hand Andre Ward used to begin the end of that fight. But people want to go away from the fact that it was that right hand that put Kovalev out, and see that Ward got him on the ropes. Ward worked head and body, and he left Kovalev sitting there on the ropes, and the referee had to stop the fight. And Kovalev crying about it. You were broken. He never got over it. And those two setup fights he had were just okay with Kovalev. They weren't really... See, managers, promoters, trainers, they know their fighter. Now, John David Jackson, who came out recently and said the same things that a lot of us felt about Kovalev, including the racist issue, but what he told us and showed us was that Kovalev didn't like to train, and Kovalev was a mentally weak fighter. He was a front runner. And those two stiffs that they put him in there with, they weren't for Kovalev's benefit at all. They were for HBO and Main Event's benefit to sell to you, the consumer, that the Crusher was back. They sold that to you. So you would say, hey, Kovalev's back. Yeah, look at that. He's looking, But the opponents were nondescript opponents. But they were there to sell to you, the public, the HBO viewers, that you're seeing something special. Yeah, Kovalev had returned from the Ward losses, and Kovalev was now back to dominate the light heavyweight division. And then comes up with these, then further planting to sell, to tell you he didn't want no smoke with nobody legitimate, when Kovalev was talking about, I don't really want to fight my countrymen. I don't want to fight my countrymen. If black Americans felt the same way about, I don't want to fight my countrymen, we'd have none of the great fights we have. We wouldn't. So I don't want to hear that. That's just talk you talk about when you don't really want no smoke, when you ain't sure of yourself. And that's what Kovalev was trying to tell people, but they try to, those guys in the Ukraine are really tight and blah, blah, blah bullshit. Kovalev didn't want no smoke. And he was not, and he knew it. He knew, Then they stuck with Alida Alvarez. Now, Alida Alvarez, I'd seen him fight. I knew the guy was for real. And there was a reason why Adonis Stevenson wanted no smoke. There's a reason why. So and Yvonne Michelle, who manages both of them, Yvonne was trying not to lose a meal ticket, because Adonis is a big sell in Canada. So what finally happened was Alida Alvarez, Yvonne Michelle found a way to they needed a credible opponent for Kovalev, because they knew those two cupcakes they put him in was not going to stand. So they needed a credible opponent for Kovalev, and they were, because they're trying to build this Kovalev-Bivol fight, or they were trying to build Kovalev-Bivol. So they brought in Alida Alvarez. They figured, he's not a big puncher. He's more of a boxer. He's this, he's that. This is a good fight. It's a respectable fight, because this is the guy that Adonis Stevenson wouldn't fight. So yeah, we can say, this guy's been mandatory for a couple years. So HBO and Main Event's got to say, yes, it's like a safe fight. It's a big name, it's a safe fight. Yeah. It's a win-win. Okay. It's a win-win. Well, we found out there's no sure wins in boxing, because Alida Alvarez went in there and ripped that ass. Alida Alvarez went in there and followed the same print. He told him, I'm going to follow the Andre Ward blueprint. And he did. But what people fail to realize was the Andre Ward blueprint it's not what Andre Ward did, it's how Andre Ward did it mentally. By making Kovalev let him know, I'm not afraid of you. You don't scare me. And then taking it from there. That's the Andre Ward blueprint. Because it's a blueprint that's old as time itself. Stand up to a bully. How do you beat a bully? You tell him, I'm not afraid of you. Bullies are people that like to roll through people, and they'll steamroll you, and you get no resistance. When you give a bully resistance, they make them have to work for this. They ain't crazy about that. And I'm not saying all bullies are like that. Some of them bullies, they say, oh man, you gonna make me work for this one? And they'll work for an ass. They'll work to whoop your ass. A lot of bullies, they don't want to put that work in. And a lot of these bullies, they've never had to fight because they were bigger and meaner looking, and everybody was scared of them, so they had to do no work. And when they have to do some work, oh shit, you find this motherfucker don't know what the fuck he's doing. I was afraid of what? And that's what the problem with Andre Ward. That's the problem with Sergey Kovalev. Everybody was afraid of him. He's a big bad bully, but they found out this motherfucker, well, he ain't know everything he's made out to be. Alida Alvarez understood that. He went in there and got himself his title. Now Yvonne Michelle, Showtime because I don't believe HBO has, Yvonne Michelle doesn't sell out his fighter, so I don't think HBO has options on Alida Alvarez except for a Kovalev rematch. So now, we don't know what could happen. The point is that this is the sad thing. Don't look like we're getting an undisputed light heavyweight champion. Don't look like it. And here's why. For some reason, the IBF light heavyweight champion has found himself with Eddie Hearns. Dumb bastard. Bevo, who's with HBO. We don't know where, Stevenson was Showtime. We don't really know what Alida Alvarez is going to do because the same promotional company that promotes Stevenson also promotes him. And those guys seem to be really Showtime loyal. Now, plus I think Alida Alvarez is also advised by Al Heyman. So now, this could be, we don't know where this is going to go. Would I like to see him go back? I don't seriously at this moment think there's going to be a Kovalev rematch. I don't. And it's not, and it's one is because Kovalev really doesn't want a rematch. Two, Kovalev needs to go up to cruiserweight. And Kovalev also needs to fucking understand he's not as good as he thought he was. He needs to get better and get himself a real trainer and actually listen to his real trainer. Kovalev's a guy that was in Russia, was getting off by on natural ability. And he was better than a lot of those kids, bigger than a lot of them kids. Excuse me. And he was able to get by on a lot of the smoke and mirrors. And he did that throughout most of his pro career. Well, Andre Ward saw through the smoke and mirrors, and everybody else saw through it too. So now you need to learn how to tighten up those screws and get yourself together. I like to see the brother take the rest of the year off. Contemplate, get his head together, get his head right. He needs a sports psychologist badly if he's going to continue to be a force in boxing. Sergey Kovalev is a sports psychologist to get him mentally packed because he's mentally weak. He's mentally weak. So he's going to have a hard time. But if he's going to continue, he can go up to the cruiserweight division. There's a bunch of cupcakes up there. There's a Dunkin' Donuts. There's a Dunkin' Donuts, a Krispy Kreme. He can Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme his way back to invincibility up there until he gets to Usyk, the champion. And just hope the fact that Usyk gets stripped one of them belts, most likely WBO, and he can slide in there and snatch that belt and cupcake his way to throughout the end of his career. That's how I feel about Kovalev. Now, another thing I see on Facebook, they have this, and on a lot of boxing sites, they have this poll. There are 3 fights. Which one do you want to see? Mikey Garcia, Lomachenko, Spence and Crawford, and Wilder and Joshua. Now, as a boxing purist, as someone that loves boxing, I want to see all 3 of those fights. But if I could only see one, I would say anytime you get to unify the heavyweight division, you want that. An undisputed heavyweight championship is what you always strive for. Because as goes the heavyweight division in boxing, as goes everything else. If the heavyweight division has a clear number 1 cut champion, we're good. And honestly, you know what? What's starting to happen is, and I noticed what's starting to happen is, Deontay Wilder has really started to. Deontay Wilder said before, he needs to go to Larry Holmes route. Fuck Anthony Joshua and just do his own thing. And he's getting to that point now. Now there's the Tyson Fury fight. I hope it happens. I hope to God the Tyson Fury fight happens. Now, what I would like to see Showtime do, if we're going to do this stupidity with Mikey Garcia and Earl Spence Jr., pay-per-view it out. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Undercard of the main support would be Earl Spence Jr. and Mikey Garcia. And then there's talk that Keith Thurman may come back. That'd be a nice one there. Have Keith throw one more fight. Put 4 fights on the pay-per-view. And blow it out. Now, hear me out here. A lot of people are going to say, well, Well, Earl and Mikey's a pay-per-view in his own right, and this and that and this and look, listen to me. I'm gonna say this again to all you people that don't understand this. When Don King was at his height, this would be a Don King pay-per-view. The champion up top, Spence would be fighting Mikey Garcia. Keith Thurman would be back, and we'd have another fight underneath that. If this was and that's where when boxing was really boxing or making their money, is because Don King would be like, look, this is a big fight. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder should be on pay-per-view. Now, Earl Spence, Mikey Garcia, that's a good Showtime main event. Because I don't really want to see that shit. I would rather see Mikey Garcia keep his ass down at 135 and fight Lomachenko. That's what I'd rather see. But if you're going to do this shit, it doesn't hurt Earl's brand to have Earl. It puts Earl and his brand on a pay-per-view. It helps support this big card you're putting together. And it might just help your pay-per-view buy rates and help the pay-per-view market. That's the problem. People are everybody's raped the pay-per-view market so much that it's got, pumped all the blood out of it. Because we got these bullshit cards now where you charge $90, $100 for Mayweather Pacquiao and there's no undercard. It's like you're charged for this great big sandwich and all you get is bread. That's all the fuck we got was bread. We got no meat, no cheese, no onions, tomatoes, peppers. We got no sandwich. We paid for the sandwich. We only got bread and mayo. It's time to bring pay-per-view boxing back the way Don King did it when it was successful. Don King gave you a sandwich. If Showtime's going to be successful with this pay-per-view card, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury's the main event. Earl Spence, Mikey Garcia is the undercard. I want a Charlo brother on there. I want a Charlo on there. If I can get one of Charlos, put him on there. If Keith Thurman is serious about making his return, put Keith's old ass on. Let Keith open the card up, because you've been away for 20 years, so you just open the card up. You ain't going to defend the title. I'll put Jamel Charlo defending his title. Spence is defending his title. Deontay Wilder. It's a 3 title fights in Earl and goddamn Sean Porter. Shit, if I can get a 4th title fight, I'll put that on. Still put Sean Porter. Put 5 cards in that pay-per-view. Have a stacked undercard, which is going to show on Show Extreme and on Facebook. A non-televised portion. The televised portion of the card, the pay-per-view portion, stack that bitch up. Maybe put 5 fights in that pay-per-view. That's a first time only Don should do that. If Keith Thurman is serious about coming back, let Keith Thurman open. Then have 4 straight title fights. Or you maybe open the card with a title fight. Maybe get Gary Russell Jr. back. See if we can get Gary Russell and one of those other champions. Leo Santa Cruz, the boy from Warren or whatever, from one of them boys from the UK with a belt. See if we can get a unification. Gary Russell Jr. in a unification fight. Let that open. Keith Thurman the 2nd fight. Charlo's the 3rd fight. Spence the 4th fight. Main event. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Charge $80 for that. You're going to make your money back and then some. And you know what's going to happen? Boxing fans are going to be more inclined to come back when you give them the sandwich. That's why Don King was so that's why Don King made so much money off his pay-per-view. You go back, any of you that are watching, if you get a chance to see an old Don King pay-per-view, any Tyson pay-per-view that Don King promoted, you will see there was a stacked undercard. The undercard was one of my favorites was Tyson Ruddock. And we had that's the night Tito Trinidad beat Maurice Blocker. We had Simon Brown defending the WBC title. Julian Jackson fought on that card. And then Tyson. But it was a stacked card. Stacked. When you have Tito Trinidad, Maurice Blocker for the IBF welterweight title. Then you have Simon Brown defending the WBC welterweight title. You have Julian Jackson defending the WBC middleweight title on that card. And then you have Tyson against Razor Ruddock. That was a stacked card. You know what? And you know how much that card cost? $40. It was a $35.99 for that card. $40. Now you want to give people less, and this is why pay-per-view's dying. When it was good at $40, I got Don King gave me a goddamn sandwich, fully loaded sandwich and fries and almost a drink. You motherfucker barely give me a sandwich. and charged me $80, $100. Mayweather Pacquiao. Guys, do us all a favor. Stack this card. Go Don King style. Stack this card. Fury Wilder. Stack it. Put Spence and Garcia on there. Stack this card. Charge $80. Give boxing fans what to give boxing fans their money's worth. Put this shit in Vegas. Give boxing fans what their money's worth. Give it to them. You know, I know people saying, well, Spence Garcia, you know, that could be its own thing in you know, in San Antonio. That would be good. Okay. But you got Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Why the hell would I throw a competing card when I could raise Earl's profile, and Mikey's even better, because now the thing about, you know, Earl's never been on pay-per-view. Mikey's been on a couple under. Now you got, you know, now you're on a pay-per-view card, which raises your value. It raises your value. So, and you know, it's worth more to me, because if you put boxing fans, you can't give them too much sticker shock, man. In this economy, you don't get sticker shock. Why put two big cards, and I can put all that on one big card, charge $80, give these fans a whole, get my top hitters out there, give these fans and it's in December, fools. It's Christmas time. Come on. Put that big card together Christmas time. Give these fools something to, you know, give the dad, the boxing fans, something good for Christmas. You know, he got a big card there, DVR, he gonna DVR that shit or whatever, and that's gonna be something. He gonna be, oh shit, this is worth it. Whole family come together. Watch this damn fight. Bring a new generation of fans to the game. But I digress. I do hope that comes together. I don't know if they'll do it the way I want to do it, because that's the way I think would make the most sense. But we'll see what happens with that. So now my man Blood Boxing, he's back with another edition of the 1980, with the fall of 1981 with the heavyweight division. The episode had just dropped. If you haven't seen it, go to Blood Boxing Returns on both on Facebook and on YouTube. Go there, brother. Check it out. Check out the whole series so you can really go. It starts in 1979, early 80s, and it goes all the way up in 81. So we still got some room to grow. You know, we haven't even got to Holmes Cooney yet. So right now we're at Ronaldo's. Right now he's building up for Ronaldo Snipes and Larry Holmes. I remember that. Oh my goodness, that fight there. I want to see what the hell he does when he gets to honestly, as much as I'm looking forward to a lot of them, I'm really looking forward to two more. The two fights I'm looking forward to was Holmes Cooney, which is the first time me as a fan realized the racism in boxing. And I'm working for Holmes versus Tex Cobb. That's the fight that retired Howard Cosell from boxing. But those are, you know, two significant fights Larry had. To me, I want to see what Blood does with these. I'm looking forward to Blood's take on this, because I've seen a lot of people's take, and I love Blood's unique take on how he does this and how he narrates. And I see what Blood's doing there is he's telling this story, but he's also educating and introducing a bunch of newbies to the sport, and he's giving an old guy like me a trip down memory lane. So that's why I appreciate what Blood does, and I hope he keeps it up. This is one of the things I love about the LDBC. You got a guy like Blood, who like me, who is a historian of the sport. You got, you know, Black Fight Fan and 7-8 Sports, who's up on all the modern stuff, and they're calling a lot of these people out. You got Fernand International, he's got the legal aspect of it. He let us know that shit with Joshua and Eddie Hearn, they were full of shit with the contract deal. You know, it's a lot of channels, a lot of people, I'm not going to throw names out, but a lot of these guys that have tie-ins to magazines, you got to master, man. And you can say you're impartial, but to an extent, you have to feed the company line. What I love about the brothers in LDBC is that, and in new media, a lot of these brothers, they got their Patreon, they got their shit going on, but they're not, they honestly giving the straight scoop, because they're not tied to any promotional outfit, to any whatever. You know, they're not tied to any of that bullshit. They are just there doing their thing. They don't have to preach, you know, the HBO line, the Ring Magazine line, the this company's line. They ain't got to preach that. Now, you know, a lot of people are trying to say, well, the LDBC is biased towards Showtime. No, they're not. No, they're not. and you're anti-DAZN. Look, man, look. Eddie Hearns has his bullshit card coming on DAZN. Is going to go head-to-head with Conor McGregor. Okay, you got a bunch of you fighting in Chicago. You ain't got a single, and your main event is Jesse Vargas? Really? That's how you going to come in America with Jesse Vargas as your main event? Come on, man. What the fuck you doing? You know, and the thing is that you're upset about, you're salty about, is because nobody's giving a fuck about Joshua and Povetkin. See, through all this talk, this is what we're forgetting about. Through all this talk about that bad Chicago card on DAZN, you know what we haven't been talking about? We ain't been talking about Joshua and Povetkin because don't nobody give any fucks about that fight. The moment Deontay Wilder talked about Tyson Fury, they fight this Saturday, next Saturday, the 18th. Tyson Fury gets through that boy, now that promotion for him, and Wilder goes through, and nobody gives a fuck about Anthony Joshua. And this proves the point that the brothers, the LWC, and a lot of people in new media have been saying. Anthony Joshua was built up off Deontay Wilder, just like Manny Pacquiao was built up off Floyd Mayweather. Because here's Anthony Joshua fighting Povetkin. Don't nobody give a fuck. I mean, ain't nobody even talking about that shit. Ain't nobody even talking about that shit. Nobody's talking about Joshua and Povetkin because nobody cares. Even the people in the UK don't give a fuck about that fight. The goddamn Dillian White's getting more pub on his victory over Joseph Parker than you are. Anthony Joshua, you beat Joseph Parker first, yet Dillian White is getting more pub off of that than you did. And Dillian White's getting more talk about it, more airtime than you did. Nobody gives a fuck about you and his Povetkin. Dillian White is going to do the same thing. He's looking at, let me bark at Deontay Wilder here. Using Wilder to get up. And you're getting overshadowed because your stupid ass promoter, he wants to promote himself. Eddie Hearns wants to be the star. He's a promoter. So Eddie Hearns wants to promote himself. You just happen to come along with the package. He's making you seem dumber and dumber, more worthless every day. And now you got this DAZN. Come on, man. Let me tell you, just like with HBO, I don't have HBO because I can go online and I can find the fight. Now, the night of the Kovalev Alvarez fight, I was listening to Sister Beverly Rose. She had, her cast on her channel, and I was listening to it there. Then about a couple hours later, I found a live, video somebody uploaded of Kovalev Alvarez on YouTube, so I got to watch it. I got to watch two versions. Actually three versions. I got to watch the version, overseas version in on Kovalev's native land. I got to watch the HBO broadcast, and I got to watch the British feed of it. So I got to watch all of them with different commentators. But the results stayed the same. And what I noticed that when HBO has a fight of their fighter, when their fighter gets in trouble, is ready to lose, they switch the narrative real quick. They really start band hopping midway through the fight. Like when their guys getting ass kicked, they start jumping on the other bandwagon. This ship's still going. They straddling the fence. So HBO does say the old Don King move. I'm going to go on with the champion. I'm going to come out with the champion. So whoever the champion is, I'm coming out with the champion. And they do that shit in mid-fight. When their guys not getting the better of it, they start straddling. But yeah, that's the sad part about this whole Joshua thing, is that Joshua's getting no play in HBO and DAZN, getting back to DAZN. Nobody wants to pay an extra $10 for this bullshit, man. First of all, you're trying to make the app work in the U.S. The app didn't work in Canada. Was good in Canada because they didn't have the NFL. They couldn't get the NFL network. I can watch NFL games in Yahoo streaming. What the fuck? So you come with the DAZN, and we're supposed to get all these cards, and the cards are weak as fuck. Now, is there a chance I might get DAZN? I don't know, because there's that World Series of Boxing, that World Boxing Super Series is something I'm really interested in. But I might even wait for that and get it find it on stream somewhere. But as a boxing, as a boxing person that's loved this sport of boxing, this is passion. I really don't see myself buying the zone. Now, I did get the ESPN app. I got the app, and I must say, Bob Arum has done some good fights on the ESPN app. But I don't see myself getting the zone. I don't think the cards are worth it. Because who the hell you got? I mean, you got Billy Joe Sanders and Demetrius Andrade. I mean, the better fight, Danny Jacobson, Devin Checo, that's gonna be an HBO. And let me tell you something, I'm gonna get the Devin Checo fight because I've seen that kid. That kid's a live dog. I don't know. This kid might, I would not be shocked if Devin Checo beats Daniel Jacobs. Just saying, putting it out here. Would not be shocked. But like I said, that's pretty much it, Mike. That's all I'm gonna cook on today. It's like 35 minutes, man. I went over to 36 minutes, man. As long as I want to do. But comment, subscribe, comment, give me comments, man. Help me out with topics that you want me to cover in this thing. I'm really thinking about really going back and getting in on the weight classes issue, and I'm getting in on these championship fights, and I got some things on my mind I want to get off and talk about. But hey, this dope works the next time. Give me a suggestion. Hit me up on Old School Box Talk at gmail.com. Leave me a post on Facebook, Old School Boxing Talk on Facebook. Whatever. Hit me up. Give me comments. Let me know what you guys want. Let me know what you guys want me to cover. Till next time, signing off.